Assalamu alaikum. Today we will talk about fasting, the importance of fasting, why we fast, and some of the benefits of fasting. The reason Muslims fast is because God Almighty says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhal ladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. That fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you in order that you develop taqwa. Taqwa can be translated as self-control, fear of God, or to become conscious of God. Now, when we think about why we need to be conscious of God, well, clearly, God Almighty says in the Quran, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that I have not created insan, human beings, nor the jinn, but to worship me. So when we look at the purpose of our creation, we find that that ultimately is what we human beings were created for, in order to live our lives always constantly conscious of the existence of God Almighty and therefore in obedience to His will. And when we are fasting, we are in a constant state of obedience to His will. We are undergoing an enormous amount of suffering, especially when fasts are during the months of the summer months. We could be fasting up to 18, 19 hours per day. That's not easy. But when you look at the impact of that on us, when we endure that for 29, 30 solid days, then you will feel that spiritual upliftment that will help you to be closer to God and therefore more able to obey Him and worship Him. And therefore, you become a much stronger person inside to resist those temptations which lead you away from the worship of the Creator of the heavens and the earth. And that is what fasting does. Having said that, there are also, on top of that, many, many benefits that, in fact, scientists in their labs are discovering today. For example, it is extremely good for flushing out the toxins from your system. Imagine, for 30 solid days, you are controlling your diet to such an extent that your whole body becomes cleansed. Also, from a psychological point of view, from an intellectual point of view, from the brain point of view as well, certain studies have been done, notably by a certain Dr. Michael Mosley, and you can see his research on YouTube. One particular program he did for the BBC was about fasting purely from a health perspective. And he showed, amongst many other benefits, that it actually helps to slow down dementia. So we can see from this that there are enormous spiritual benefits as well as physical benefits to fasting. Thank you very much.